What's up, everybody? Welcome into the Thursday night triple threat or tag team podcast. I am Big Mike, joined as always by Mr. U. Mr. U, how you doing tonight?
Good, man. How you guys
doing? Doing well. Sped, how you doing?
I'm all right, man. How about yourself?
I'm doing better than all right, man. We're all together. That should be doing better than all right. Let's go. Get it going. EC, get him straight. How you doing, EC?
Yeah, we're good, and we got Oreo Coca-Cola in the house.
Yeah, I saw your reveal or your review video you did the other day. That was pretty cool.
Yeah, it's interesting, but it tastes just like an Oreo. I mean, I like it. I just don't think. I think I overbought because I got excited and bought 3 10-packs, but
wow!
I quickly realized,
before you even tried them.
Oh wow!
Wait, what was that?
Like you bought those before you even tried them?
No, I had already tried it, but
okay.
Okay.
The first time you try it, it's really good, but now I'm realizing it's something you drink every once in a while, not when you're dying of thirst.
So kind of like Oreos in particular. It's not something you should eat all the time. They should eat as a special occasion.
Yeah. So they're gonna be there for a while.
Yeah. Speaking of special occasions, it is Thursday night, and we are the Thursday Night Tag Team, your judgment-free wrestling podcast. No hate, all positive vibes. Welcome into some of our guests. Lady Alpha here every single Thursday night with us. We appreciate you, Lady Alpha. And like she said, don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button. We really appreciate it. It helps us grow and get even bigger. Some big announcements coming for the show over the next couple of weeks. Stay tuned to Twitter or X, Facebook, Instagram, everything, where we've got a few announcements coming up. So we will get to that in due time. And, of course, hey, Lady Alpha, as we've already said, hope you're doing well. And everybody else joining in the comments says we will be talking about all the normal shows. No PLE or pay-per-view. Kind of a weird concept now. It's been the first time in a few weeks that we haven't had some sort of big monumental pay-per-view or PLE that we will be able to talk about just some storylines leading up to the next shows, which, as everybody knows, Bad Blood for WWE and Grand Slam for AEW, as well as the big premiere on the CW for NXT. We will talk about all those at some point tonight as we go through the last week of wrestling, plus some other stuff. We have a new segment called Twitter Submissions that we have found throughout the Twitterverse, some questions that you guys have asked. So if you want to see it, make sure you tag me or one of the guys in your comment if you have a good question that you want to put on Twitter. We will use it as a part of the show every week. And of course, the fan favorite, the Thursday night Matchmaker Series, a special one tonight for our boy EC down there, who's already kind of smiling, knows what's coming up. So we will get to all that and more. But again, we don't do any of this without any of you guys. So we will get started, and we'll go kind of in chronological order. Last show after our show last night was Friday Night SmackDown. Pretty big show. The premiere on Fox, a little bit different production, a little bit of a different, or not on Fox. The first one out of Fox, back on USA. We'll start with you, Mr. U. What you think? What you think of Friday Night SmackDown with the new logo and graphics and just kind of new vibe?
The logo was cool. The song, nah, man, I ain't gonna be able to do it. You change that thing to something else. Overall, production-wise, I don't know if I saw a big difference. I know I had to cut out on a couple of matches because I was doing something out of the house, but did you guys see major changes production-wise? Did you see anything different? I didn't see much backstage or just overall. I mean, I don't know.
I mean, I didn't notice anything huge. There was a lot of like different graphics, different, match graphics, things like that, that made kind of like the transitions of the show a little bit different, which is always cool. But as far as like match quality and production and things like that, I don't know that that's really going to change a whole lot. Sped, did you notice anything that you could point out or and what did you think of the show overall?
I mean, it was all right. The show was all right. I mean, I saw a rumor that they might be going 3 hours, and I'm praying that they don't. SmackDown's great at 2 right now, but
real now.
I don't know. We'll see. I hope it doesn't happen though. SmackDown's great where it's at. I see why USA wants to do it. There's nothing else. Nobody wants to watch on USA anyway. I mean, who go back and watch Twitter? You know, I mean, if you want to get on Peacock, you know,
Man, the whole
like
program is
they got nothing. The Olympics is gone, so they got nothing besides WWE. I mean, I thought the stage was going to look different. I was hoping they would do something like old schoolish, not with the fist. You know, I see everyone wants the fist to come back, but I don't want, you know, the fist. Leave it in the warehouse. Do something different. Like make Raw feels like Raw and SmackDown feels like SmackDown if you're going to do it like this. And you got one going to Netflix here soon at the end of the year, and then you got one on USA. So let's make this one feel different. New stage coming up, you know, or different product like what Mr. U was talking about. Let's do things differently on a different show, you know.
Yeah. EC, what are your thoughts?
great. I'm sorry.
I'll come back to you.
For me, I liked the new look. It gave me kind of 2002 SmackDown vibe.
I did like the logo.
I don't know if anyone caught it either, but they got rid. I don't know if it's like just for this past show or going forward, but at least for the night, they got rid of that LED ring post and the LED.
Oh no, I saw that. Yeah,
I did notice that.
So I thought that was cool, and
I thought that was real dope.
The show, I think it was fun, but you know, obviously the biggest part of the show was everyone's new favorite legend, Ricky. What a goat!
Yes, justice for Ricky.
Listen. I was thinking
Ricky.
Everyone was talking about Ricky Starks, and we got this Ricky, and everybody wants this Ricky over Starks night.
Ricky, but
exactly. That's what I'm saying. Yeah, like that's what I'm saying. Everybody's like, "Oh man, WWE's about to go get Ricky Starks." Oh, curveball, we got better Ricky. You know,
better
isn't
Ricky.
he?
Oh man, hashtag that right now. Better Ricky.
Oh man. Oh, but yeah.
My overall opinion is, I mean, they didn't have to do much, and it felt like a big deal.
Yeah, Mr. U, what was the point you were going to make before EC started?
Yeah, I know they talking about moving it in 3 hours. I saw it in so many places. I think it's legit because I've seen it passed around in some somewhat credible places. One thing about a 3 hour show, this is my beef with Raw. I kind of want to see more matches. I mean, you got all these watchers. I mean, yeah, they can hang out in catering. I'm sure catering is cool, but I'm pretty sure they wouldn't mind having a spot, even if it's a 5 minute, 6 minute match on TV. I'm sure they'd appreciate it, you know. And they can do more with the time that they have. But for some reason, Raw just doesn't want to do that. I don't know if SmackDown is going to be different, but man, have more matches. I think that's something that, if I can make a comparison, AEW does that kind of pretty well. They don't have 3 hour shows really, but they put matches. They have matches in the show. They squeeze 4 matches on Rampage. I mean, they'll squeeze 4 or 5 matches in that. I mean, they'll do it. So in this case, I hope SmackDown, if they're going to go to 3 hours, which it seems like they are, have more matches. The backstage vignettes, they ain't got to be 3 minutes long, 5 minutes long. We don't need it. You know what I'm saying? Go ahead and put a match in there. Even if it's a squash match, have a match. You know what I'm saying? Just highlight somebody and put somebody over. So I just, I'm hoping they do that, but that's all I'm going to say.
Yeah, no, I mean, I completely agree. And for all the criticism we give AEW for a lot of different things, and a lot of it's very warranted. You know, they do focus on the actual in-ring wrestling product a lot more than WWE, who tends to focus on more of the production and story, kind of behind the scenes story product. So that's a very valid concern, especially, and I get it for USA. You're losing 5 hours of wrestling television product in, when NXT goes to the CW and when Raw goes to Netflix. So yeah, of course you're going to try to maximize that as much as possible. So I can get why they would want to go to 3 hours, but I'm with you. I'd like to see some more wrestling. It's funny, you can go through, and I've got a guy on my Twitter who pretty much posts every cage match rating of each show, and it goes through and tells you how long each match was and things like that. And it's funny because you can watch a 2 hour Dynamite, and it's like, there was 67 minutes or 70 minutes of wrestling in a 2-hour Dynamite as opposed to a 3-hour Raw, and there was 45 minutes of wrestling, if that. So I definitely get the concern and hope it will get a little better. I mean, I still love the production and the storyline aspect of it, but we definitely want to see some wrestling in our wrestling.
Facts.
Speaking of some of the wrestling and storylines, we will go over a couple things. Carmelo and Andrade for the number one contendership for LA Knight's U.S. title. Match 5 of their series did see Andrade win and become the number one contender. EC, we'll start with you. What do you think of that match? And what do you think about the U.S. title shot coming up for Andrade?
I think it's so like, I don't know if there was really a way to lose with whoever you went with winning that series. For me personally, it's nice to see Andrade get it just because, coming back, obviously wanting better than what he was getting in AEW and even his first run in WWE. I'm honestly interested to see how that goes with LA Knight versus Andrade. Obviously, it could be great. Are they doing that at Bad Blood or is that on SmackDown?
I think that's on SmackDown.
Last I heard, I think it's going to be on the SmackDown before. It's either this week or the right before Bad Blood. But it's on one of the SmackDowns.
I wonder. I wouldn't be surprised if Carmelo got involved and cost Andrade or ended up hitting them both. To be honest with you.
Yeah, I could see them doing some sort of angle like that where he comes in and does a run in on the match and they turn it into maybe a triple threat at Bad Blood or something like that. Or, maybe the next SmackDown, maybe do that this Friday. And then next week SmackDown, the go home before Bad Blood, maybe having the triple threat match. But yeah, definitely. Sped, what do you think?
I agree with EC. I think it's gonna be Melo's gonna get involved some way, and it's gonna turn into a triple threat for that title. But they're not gonna let Andrade look, they're not gonna let Andrade look weak going through this match. They're really. I think H is invested in Andrade and Melo, but he's also got to build up that U.S. title again because 2 title defenses, 107 days, 127 days, something like that, 200 some days, whatever. But that's the thing though, like you got to build that title back up. So yes, LA Knight's going to take it. Then we're going to see a triple threat. Then who knows what's going to happen there? I don't know. If you keep LA Knight as U.S. champion for too much longer, maybe going into December, keep him at Survivor Series. There you go. He loses at Survivor Series. That's the next big one. I don't think he holds past that. I think either Melo or Andrade gets his title here soon.
Mr. Yu, do you agree? Would you rather just see a regular one-on-one match, or do you want to see Melo kind of get involved and turn into a triple threat, or would you rather see a good one-on-one match between Andrade and LA Knight, and then maybe a future one with Melo and LA Knight?
Well, I'd rather see the Andrade LA Knight straight up, only because it rarely ever happens. The fact that everybody here predicted it, and I was going to say the same thing, that says it's been done so predictably, what's going to happen. So I think that wrestling fans, especially the smart ones, are kind of tired of that. And a face versus a face ain't something that, we see very often, but I think this would be a good match and they let it happen. Carmelo's interference in this is going to automatically make it a triple threat, and I don't think I would care for that. It will protect LA Knight. That's one good plus on that side, but aside from that, I don't really kind of have some variety with this. I love what they're doing with this whole series thing going. They're doing it with Braun and Bronson too. The fans are really feeling it. They're really getting into it. Yeah. This best of series, however you want to describe it, it's going pretty well. Even AEW is trying to do it too. So it's like, this is a good thing for the fans to kind of I think the wrestlers are testing the limits. They kind of seeing where they can go and how they can elevate each other and elevate the match. So I think it's a good challenge for them too. But the fans are really into it, man. And as a fan, I'm enjoying it too. So yeah, I think it happened so fast. These 5 matches happened real quick. It happened like in a matter. It wasn't even like a matter of months, really. I think if I'm not mistaken, you can go back and check and correct me. It was a matter of like a handful of weeks, and it was over. We had 5 matches out of them. They could have spread it out a little long, making it last between at least a few pay-per-views. I mean, 5 matches. I mean, but other than that, it's a small complaint. But that's the only one I saw that was a so-called negative. But otherwise, I'm loving the little best of 5 series or whatever it is, man. It's going really well. I like it.
Sure. EC, do you have something to add?
I was gonna say to go along with his comment of it went by so fast. I almost feel like these guys could have another 3 matches and nobody would get tired of it.
No, I love watching these two wrestle. They're good. I like it.
Just put a stip on it, and those 3 matches will be awesome.
Yeah.
Just put a stip. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm glad they made the last one for the number 1 contenders. That way, at least there was something a little bit more to it than just another match. Because these guys could have a good match at any point, but adding that extra little kick to it to be the number 1 contender is pretty cool. I would hate to see them ruin that, like you said, by having the interference and just turn it into a triple threat anyway. Because you could have done that at any point. You could have made them wrestle to a draw in the 5th match or something, and had it baked in another way to do that instead of having a run in during another match. So I definitely agree with that. And speaking of future matches, we do have a match tomorrow night. We're going to switch gears a little bit to the women's world champion Nia Jax, the tag team tomorrow night on SmackDown with Nia and Tiffany facing Naomi and Bayley. If Naomi or Bayley wins, whichever one gets the pin gets a title shot against Nia. And if Nia or Tiffany win, whoever they pin has to leave SmackDown. So kind of an interesting premise there. To where if Naomi or Bayley loses, one of them has to leave SmackDown. How do you think this ends up, Sped? Do you think one of them gets a title shot? Do you think one of them has to leave? How do you think it ends up?
Both of them get a title shot. Both of them will. It's gonna end up like I don't know how it's gonna. Yeah, I don't know how it's gonna happen, but both of them will. Watch.
Okay. EC?
My preference here is with the show being in Atlanta and my favorite being Bayley. I want to see Bayley take that win and get her rematch, but I don't know how this happens, but I do think somehow this is going to end up a triple threat because I don't know. I just have a feeling they're going to end up having this Bayley and Naomi have to pick like who's gonna cover. I don't know. It's a confusing situation. I don't know.
It is.
I think it's gonna end up with them, Bayley, Naomi, and Nia at Bad Blood.
Hey, Mr.
What I just thought of? What I just thought of real fast is Bayley's got the crossface on Tiffany, right? And then here comes Naomi with the sharpshooter or Boston Crab, and when she's tapping, they don't know who did it. There you go, it's your triple threat.
That's definitely another way to do it. Mr. U, how do you think this match goes down?
Man, I don't want to be hated on this show, man, but I don't care, man. This is not it, man.
That's a fair point.
This is filler, man. I mean, what Spence said probably was going to end up happening to a triple threat. It's like there's so much talent on here on this roster, man. You can make matches, just build story. You can do this. It can work. Naomi's getting a job right now. Since she came back, I'm like, wow, she was better off staying in this Trinity. At least she was getting some action. As soon as she came back, I'm like, watch what happened. That glow is going to be like a dim light. Watch. And she came back. It's like it ain't been happening. They had a little run that her first day back. But after that, it's been in the crapper since then. I'm like, why you doing her like this? She got talent. She can actually lead a division. She had the kind of ability to be a champion and lead the division competently. She ain't gonna get a shot at doing this under this circumstance. So it's just like I don't even know what happens. It's not somebody's gonna cash in on Nia, and I don't know what's gonna happen. It's weird. It's bad.
Yeah, I mean, I could definitely see. I'm sorry, finish your point.
Yeah, my point is done. It's just triple threat at the end.
I can definitely see the criticism with bringing Naomi back. She had the big re-debut, and then has kind of just been in the middle of the mid card just kind of all murky. She had the thing with Blair, and then you had the tag team with her and Bailey at the beginning, and then you had her in with Jade and Bianca. It's so she's kind of just been, like you said, she's kind of been filler herself, which she definitely deserves more than that, being a great wrestler and can definitely use title shots and things like that, as can Bailey, obviously being the former women's champion. And it's funny you mentioned, if the title match is in Atlanta, if I'm not mistaken, I think Naomi is originally from Atlanta as well. I know.
No, she's from Orlando.
Is she not? She was from Orlando originally?
Yeah.
Because I want to say, like, when they had the Divas thing, I want to say, like, her and Jimmy went back to Atlanta saying that she grew up there or something like that. Maybe I misheard it. Maybe it was Jimmy or something like that. One of them grew up in Atlanta or something like that. I remember seeing that.
Blow my mind. They turn the heel and have her join the bloodline. That excites me.
Well, I guess they need to bring Jimmy back whenever Jimmy gets healthy, I guess, after the Rikishi tweet.
Rikishi, I was about to say.
I know. Rikishi needs to stop it. Yeah,
he needs to put his phone down. I've seen that tweet a few times over the past few days.
He does.
Yeah, she could definitely do with a change of character, and maybe this is how we do it. Maybe Nia pins her, she moves over to Raw, and you give her a little bit of a different direction. And maybe that's how you bring her back to prominence a little bit, and then you find another way to get Bailey in or somebody else into that championship spot against Nia. So I mean, this could be a good reset for either Bailey or Naomi to move over to Raw and get some fresh ideas. That's something you'd be interested in, see?
I'd say either way, Bailey's going to be the one in this title match. It's definitely not going to be Nia versus Naomi. So I do think Naomi needs something to change. And my problem is I don't think it matters what show she's on. I don't think she's going to end up winning a women's world championship.
I was going to ask you, and I hear that they're bringing in a women's IC and a women's, mid-card title. Do you see her as the mid-card women's IC champion or mid-card, the women's United States champion or whatever it is that comes out at that, when it comes out? Do you see her getting that?
I mean, I think she'd be one of the top ones up there. I mean, I don't know. I'd obviously have to know the championship and like who's in contention for it. But I think like if she stayed on SmackDown and whatever mid-card title went to there, I think she'd be at least in the top 2 of who's going to get that. I don't think it would be the same over on Raw.
No, oh God, no. They got a lot of women over there that's very talented.
Yeah.
It's you. What do you think?
Idea the titles. I think it'll help, man. They have a lot of ladies on their roster. At least on the Raw side, the SmackDown side is a little bit thin, but so those titles, probably split the titles of one in Raw and one on SmackDown. It'll help. It'll help create some interest, give us some title matches on television, on a new network. It's not new, they've been on USA before, but you hear what I'm saying. So it's a new kind of reset, a re-push, if you will. So having a title for the mid-card folks it's better than nothing. You know what I mean? So yeah, I think it'll work out well. I like people like Piper Niven getting the chance to have some gold out there. Chelsea Green, who's so over, get a chance to put some gold around her waist. I mean,
she'll be a women's world heavyweight champion, though. I can see Chelsea Green winning the whole women's world heavyweight championship. Go to Raw.
Only way Chelsea's getting a women's world heavyweight title is if she gets some Money in the Bank.
That's what I mean. Yeah, I can see her winning that. That's what like her Karen character is amazing.
Chelsea Karen Green.
Plus, people forget when she was in Lucha Underground, she was running the show. She was doing great things on that show. She was fighting Penta on a weekly basis.
Let me correct you there, because I love when you say people forget. No, people just weren't watching.
That's true.
That's a
is
good point.
freaking true. That is a great point because it came on at like 10 o'clock at night. Oh,
Anyway,
Right. One more thing on SmackDown before we move over to Raw is everybody's, I guess, new favorite tag team, the Rhodes and Reigns connection. Maybe I don't know. I don't know what to make of it. But I'll go to you, Mr. U. I see the reaction, Mr. U. If you feel like you can talk about it, how do you feel about the new tag team going up?
My stomach. I'm about to hurl on this podcast. I can be a negative guy all night, man. I'm gonna pass this off to you guys, man. But okay, love to hear what you guys think about Cody and Roman tagging with each other.
Ed, you're up then.
I just think it's
anything good to say here?
Roman's probably just going to turn on him at the end of the day. I mean, it's all about business at this point. Okay, it's just business. He's going to need that help until one of his other cousins comes in from MLW or whatever else. Yeah, I seen what was it? Jacob Fatu's brother is on his way over now to the WWE, and there's a chance that he's going to line himself with Roman. That kid's as crazy as his brother. If you ever watch him, and I mean, maybe this right here is like, hey, he's going to turn on. Hopefully this ends soon. I'm done with it. I don't know what to do with it. Cody needs a different direction now. No, I don't think Roman's going to turn on Cody.
That doesn't make any sense.
No, there's
with the bloodline, it doesn't. With the bloodline storyline, it doesn't make any sense for really either one to turn, but more so Roman. It doesn't make sense for him to turn with him still trying to be the baby face in the situation with the bloodline.
Yeah.
EC, you kind of feel the same way as Mr. U and Lady Alpha, that it's just weird.
So weird.
Well, yeah, I definitely weird. I think at this point more annoying because
yes,
Cody. I'm a Cody fan. And for Cody, Cobb County, Georgia representation, sir. And specifically,
I mean, he did move his screen where you couldn't see the flag, but that is a Georgia flag above him up there, so I get it.
And he's got the state of Georgia with the A on it.
Yeah. Anyway, we are both born citizens of Marietta, Georgia, same as Cody Rhodes, by the way.
Okay, what's your point?
But anyway, it's nice to know that Cody's at least the third most famous person that comes from your hometown. Then, behind you two, of course.
Well, some
amazing.
But it's more annoying at this point because obviously Cody said, "Oh, I'm done with the bloodline." Then 45 minutes later, he was back in this, and when you dissect it, it's like, what purpose does Cody have in this feud? I mean, you look at it, he's beaten Solo. They're not putting him up against Jacob yet. He's the one that ended Roman. You've conquered the bloodline. You have no business in this. And even with what Roman said, this is bloodline business. It's like when people ask me, who do you think's gonna team up with Roman at War Games? And people would throw in, Sammy with the OG bloodline. I'm like, yeah, we need to keep this out. Like, this needs to be 100% bloodline. So while I find it weird, I think it's just more annoying at this point.
I'd agree. I definitely. Go ahead.
I'm sorry. Do you feel as though they're running out of ideas? Because it feels like that's what's happening. If you look at the roster, there seem to be theoretically enough people to build stories around, but it feels like they're running out of ideas. Because to put Cody and Roman in the tag team match, this is like, you better have a fantastic idea for doing this, or this is just fodder for a couple of weeks, and then we doing something else in a few weeks. It just feels weird. Weird not even a good enough word to describe this. This is just like, really?
It's just bad.
I almost wonder if it's like, just trying to fill for, with whatever's going on with the return of Jimmy, and like Jay is separate. He's over on the other show, and he honestly, from a kayfabe standpoint, has absolutely no reason to join Roman. whatever they're doing with Jimmy, but I almost feel like the Cody thing is a filler until they want to bring Jimmy back, and then eventually either Jimmy or Roman or both look at Cody and say, "Okay, step aside, we got this." But for the moment, yeah, it's weird, and I don't like it.
Same.
Yeah, especially with it being at Bad Blood. You've had this promo going on for months now with it, where it's been Cody, with I don't even remember the guy he's with, the rapper he's with, doing the stakeout, but it's been a mainly Cody thing, doing all the promos for this stuff, and now he gets put in just kind of a thrown together tag match. It's like Cody's supposed to be prominently featured in this pay-per-view, being from Georgia, being in Georgia there. And then now you just kind of throw him in a throw together tag match. I mean, this would be a great place to have him and Randy Orton, build that from, a couple of weeks ago and start building him and Randy and have him and Randy at Bad Blood. That's a huge match, that you could have had that featured Cody being in his hometown or his home state with all the promotional stuff that he's been doing. Yeah, I really do agree with you guys that it just seems like it's like maybe somebody was supposed to return and something messed up a return or a debut that it's had to be pushed back, and they said they kind of scrambled, and this was the best scramble they could get, maybe just so they could have
Jimmy,
big names in it. And maybe
Jimmy
it is Jimmy, or maybe we're sitting here making fun of Rikishi talking about the prayers and stuff like that for Jimmy. Maybe something actually happened to Jimmy, which is making him have to push back his return a little bit. Who knows? So I mean, there's something to that, and we're making fun of Rikishi for no reason. But yeah, I definitely agree with you guys. It does seem, it just like you said, weird may not be the right word. It just
and Kevin Owens in the main event for how many months it's been now? This has been happening since even before Sokoa took over. It was Rose and KO. And I'm missing somebody in the main event every single week for months, and now it's kind of almost still happening. I'm like, you don't have enough people, you run out of ideas. It's really apparent that it seems like they don't know what to do, and they kind of just spitballing ideas every week for 2 and 3 hour shows. Raw is not much different. It's a little bit different because they have a bigger roster, I believe. I think the roster is bigger by probably about 10 to 15 people. But it's bigger, so they have more to work with. But with SmackDown, they might need some more folks. I mean, when that draft came about, should have made it a little bit more even, so you can have some stories to build off of.
Yeah, they've normally done that because of the time differential, with Raw being 3 hours, SmackDown being 2. But now, especially with them going to 3 hours, if you don't have enough people that you think can fill 2 hours, what are you going to do when you go to 3 hours? Kind of back to the point we were talking about earlier.
If given the right personnel, you guys can make all of y'all can make a show that's entertaining for 2 hours. That ain't got nothing to do with this. Y'all can do that. Y'all have enough ability and talent and wisdom that y'all can do that for 2 hours and make a show that people will actually want to watch. You can put. I mean, what should you do with the Matchmaker Series? We could do that with the guys on the roster, and it'd be at least something different. Sometimes, like, you know what? Let's mix it up. Maybe you might catch lightning in the bottle and get 2 people who you could do a series out, like with Carmelo and Andrade. But you got Owens and Orton and Rose every night against the Bloodline. It's been like 6-7 months now, or longer. Come on.
Definitely. And go ahead.
I was gonna say from a standpoint of bloodline or Bad Blood, and being in Atlanta, the only thing that, and I don't know if they're aware of it, whoever's Triple H and them who are booking it, or if this is like why they went with it, but from a babyface standpoint of where the show is, obviously you got Cody, who's hometown and big over there, but you also have Roman, who went to college and played football right down the street at Georgia Tech.
That's true. It's a good point.
So I don't know if that plays into it, but who knows?
I mean, he does get a big cheer every time he comes into Atlanta, and the ones never stop for him. Yeah.
Yeah. Who knows?
So that does it for SmackDown kind of review. We will move over to what I think is the better show right now in Monday Night Raw. with a lot going on, and we will kind of stay with former Bloodline members and talk about that Braun Breaker and Jey Uso match coming up. What'd you think about how that went down Monday? Esped, I see your reaction straight away, so we'll start with you. We'll let you have the first word.
Listen, Jey Uso needs to worry about Breaker. Don't worry about what Rhea's doing and what freaking Damien's doing. Let them get beat up and don't worry about that. You're going for an IC title, okay? You're going for a singles title, and yet you're worried about what Rhea's doing with Dom and Finn, who they could easily take out. Who, being for real. Look, I call it that, like I've betted against Dom a couple of times and won, but I love it when he says that though. But you can't he needs to worry about Braun. Braun speared him to next week. I get it. That was a 6 spear, clean, smooth, whatever you want to call it, from Jey to Braun. But when Braun torpedoed from out of nowhere and hit Jey and said, "What's up?" on the way down, look, the dog is,
the dogs are barking.
The dogs are barking. They are. They are.
I guess speaking of Georgia boys, you do have Braun Breaker's who's a Georgia boy.
Also,
speaking of that,
Kennesaw State. Yep. Kennesaw State right down the road from us.
Beyond the spears though, I mean the promo they had against each other, I thought was really good. EC, what'd you think about the promo?
Yeah, because not too often do we get to see someone who can actually carry the, bragging rights of, oh, your family's never beat mine against when it comes to the Samoan dynasty. So
that's true.
And I think Braun has the potential to be the biggest and baddest of that bloodline.
It doesn't even need the last name. That's the best part.
Yeah, I love Braun. I'm a Braun Breaker guy, so, and I love Jey too, but I think there's going to be a lot of upset Bloodline fans here very shortly.
Mr. Yu, what do you think about that storyline? We talked about some bad storylines over on SmackDown. Do you think this one's a pretty good one over on Raw?
He just knows the dog barking.
As much as I can't help but hear him. But as much as I want Jey to win his first title, it kind of feels like something has to happen before that can happen. And right now, and Sped's point is really accurate, which I'm surprised by. But the infatuation with Rhea and stuff is like it almost makes it like a comedy. And it's like, he's like, I'm gonna get Rhea. I'm like, okay, you need to get a title, a championship, to kind of legitimize yourself as a singles wrestler. And it's like, if it just feels like, despite what happened on Monday, it just feels like he's gonna run into a buzzsaw and this ain't gonna happen.
Well, let me ask you this.
I'm gonna be shocked if it does, because I want it to happen, but I'm like, it just feels like all the joking, all the clowning around, it's gonna cost you, and you end up getting spit out your shoes, and this is gonna be over.
I think it's genius, honestly, because you see from a fan standpoint over the months of Jey going for singles championships and not being able to pull it out, and it's like people getting frustrated with the booking, but here he is with a chance to do it, and now he can't keep his focus on the singles championship.
Let me ask y'all: is Jey Uso starting to feel like LA Knight before he won the US title? We're not saying megastar. I'm saying the heat is the flame finally fizzling out with the fans type of deal. Like if he doesn't win soon with the singles title, he's just going to be known as a tag team guy.
I don't think so.
Hold on. Let Mr. Yu, he wanted to jump in, so we'll let him go first.
If you don't mind, Mr. EC, let me just jump in real quickly. Go ahead and take this. What happens when he comes out, his entrance, that's fire, is still over like a fat rat. Nothing's changed with that part. But in the matches, it's something that's different. I think what Sped is talking about is actually happening. It's not intense like it was. Matter of fact, same thing happened to LA Knight, as a matter of fact, where when he was on his quest, kind of going up. his upward mobility toward the title. Even inside his matches, the fans was hot in his matches. Everything he did before the BQE was hot for the fans. Everybody was hot for it. What Jay was doing with when he go yeet 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 every time he hit somebody, it was hotter than it was now. If you listen to it, watch the next match. It's not as hot, and I feel like what Sped is saying is legitimate. It's happening again. He said something good twice tonight. I can't believe it. Just kidding, Sped. But I feel like the momentum kind of down. So it's like, to your point, EC, if he doesn't win this, I don't know how many bites of the apple you're gonna get, because I mean the list of contenders for Braun is like long. You got plenty to work off of. So you kind of feel like it's one of those things where Jay got to take advantage of this. I feel like he need to take advantage of it ASAP, but I don't know what's going to happen. though. I just got a funny feeling in my gut. Just like, I don't know.
Yeah, I'm kind of with you. I don't think there's any way he beats Braun. I think it would be cool to see him with a title and with Yeet and everything else. I think it would be really cool. But I'm kind of the same vein where, you know, I'd like to see him focus a little bit more. And maybe after this whole Judgment Day thing with Rhea and Damian kind of passes, maybe they can all get to that point. But I definitely don't think that it right now is the time for Jey Uso. Definitely let Braun Breaker kind of eat him up, take him out. Yeah, and let that happen. Let Braun Breaker solidify himself against a big name, one of the more popular guys on the roster in Jey. And definitely let him continue his reign and continue to build that up. Which will bring us to our next point for Monday Night Raw is you know, maybe a future opponent for Braun Breaker. You had the all-out brawl, the monster, you know, Godzilla versus Kong kind of esque beat down of Braun Breaker and Braun Strowman that went everywhere. You know, one of the better segments of Raw for me that I just loved. And EC, we'll start with you. What did you think of that segment and their brawl, and where do we go from here with those two?
It was funnier from my aspect because, like, at the time of that match when I was watching, I was actually on the phone with someone, so I didn't have the really listening to the audio. I'm just kind of like seeing what's going on here. But once they got backstage, especially like when they ran him through the wall, I got flashback to WrestleMania 17 when Kane and Big Show were throwing each other through walls. So I found it hilarious. That to take two men of those size, that especially with Braun, where, you know, he had his time where he was super popular, and then like with what Bronson's doing right now is pretty entertaining. So to like put these two humongous men into a situation where the fan base comes out of it like laughing and enjoying it, I thought it was a win.
Mr. U, I see you shaking your head. You agree?
Oh yeah, couldn't say it better myself. That was an excellent point. The fans are into it. They loving the series, the best of series, and they loving these two guys make a total mess and tear the whole place down. Wrestling fans, especially the little kids, they probably are super over about that. They pop in for that. Oh yeah, let you two guys tear the whole ring down. Yeah, well, remember the time way back in the day when Big Show made the whole ring collapse?
Yeah,
the whole place erupted.
Well, when he threw the angle off the leg,
it was to please long time wrestling fans. So this is like right down the alley right here. Two big guys, these two big horses. Just let them go. But this can go on forever. This is great.
Yeah, which kind of goes into my question. Where Sped, I'll let you answer. I do have a question. You know, where do we go from here with these two guys? To me, it screams a monster last man standing match. Hopefully at Bad Blood. I would love to see that. Sped, do you agree with that's where we should go, or what kind of match do you think they should have? Or
I was gonna agree with you because I saw your tweet about it. I was like, oh yeah, I agree with that. I like that, especially when you saw him get up at the end, Braun Strowman get up at the end, and you're like, oh man, and he just he withstanded the what did he call that? He didn't call that a tsunami online. He called that a tidal wave. That's what he called it, because it wasn't off the rope. It was just him running and jumping. He called it a tidal wave online. But real quick, you called it King Kong versus Godzilla. I'm gonna have to send you a link to Jacob Fatu's MLW promo where he calls himself King Kong and Godzilla when he's going up against Hammerstone, whatever his name was from TNA. He was about to go up against him, and he was like, "Yeah, I am I am Godzilla and King Kong. I was like, okay, so you might want to, I'll go ahead and send you that one so you know.
And I did have this one up. You know, Lady Alpha always loves it when we mention Kane, her
She's
favorite
great.
wrestler of all time. So that's always going to get a good pop out of Lady Alpha anytime we mention Kane. So
My-
definitely there.
I was gonna
So
say that's
EC, do you kind of agree with that? With it should be, should definitely have one more match. Do you think it should be last man standing? You think they should do a Hell in a Cell or any other kind of match? What kind of match do you think they should have?
I think, I agree with you. I think it should be a last man standing match. The only with a cage match is too simple because they're too big. They'll be busting through that thing, and then the Hell in a Cell match, I don't think they should be contained. I think they should go all around, Phillips Arena and just beat each other as bad as they can. And funny enough, with Mr. U bringing up Big Show breaking the ring, I think anyone that was watching back then can remember where they were when Brock Lesnar superplexed Big Show off the top rope and broke the ring. But I was gonna say one more thing that entertained me about that segment was when I think they were pulling Bronson, to go backstage and separate the two, and then Braun came running up again. It gave me flashback to when he had beaten Roman so bad, and he ran back. I'm not finished with you yet. So. I think
He broke the door in that segment. He broke the door in that. I remember that. Yeah, I'm not finished with you, and he ran right through the door. Yeah,
I think it was a good old school segment. So I would love to see that in a last man standing match.
that would be great. A last man standing match. Yeah.
And pretty much after that, everything else on the show to me just kind of carried along further storylines, Judgment Day, Rhea, Liv, things like that. Is there anything else that stood out for you guys? We'll go around. We'll start with Mr. U. Anything else that stood out to you from Raw other than kind of the two big segments we talked about?
Oh yeah, I just drop a quick point about that one. I think the way that it ends is these guys are the dominant tag team. I think they get each other's respect. These bad boys would be like, well, not like Earthquake and what you call it. I think they're better than that. Typhoon. They'd be better than Earthquake and Typhoon. The natural disasters. I think they'd be better than that. But I can see them getting each other's respect and be the dominant tag team. I don't know who would be heel or face, can't tell you, but that would be awesome.
That'd be nice for the tag team division. I would like that. That'd be nice.
Real quick about the Xavier Woods deal. I think it's kind of. I mean, I've been bored with New Day for a long time now. When we started doing booty-os, I was already out on them. When that happened, throwing pancakes. I was already
Ages ago, he said.
I was done with them by then, but I would love for him to kind of mentor some of these young tag teams in NXT, like Igwe and DuPont, or my guys, Bronco and Lucius. Them boys, if they had somebody behind them, they would be amazing. EC just he's killing that, so he just hates what I'm saying. I'm done for tonight, y'all. EC just like he ain't receiving nothing I got to say now. I'm good. I'm done.
So and so next week, just as kind of a program, next week we're going to treat NXT's debut on the CW as kind of a mini pay-per-view for them. So we'll talk more about NXT next week. So we won't go over a lot of NXT that's happened over this week. To get to some other things, and we'll talk a little bit about AEW here in just a second. But since we're going to transition from WWE to AEW, it's a good time to bring up our Twitter question that we found. Actually, this one was found by Sped, so thank you, man. A Twitter question that kind of bridges that gap. Who would be better who is better in the ring all time? Kurt Angle, Bryan Danielson, or Daniel Bryan, however you look at it. And EC, you brought it up, so we'll let you go first. What are your thoughts, and who do you think's the best all time?
You were asking me, right? Someone called.
No, I meant Sped. I meant Sped because he's the one that brought the question to us. I did say EC. That's my fault.
I would have to say Kurt Angle. Prime Kurt, man, he held everything. The dude could take on anyone. He could go in the ring with anyone. He could go as long as you want him to go. I like DB or BD, whatever you want to call him. But if you're going to go in ring between these two, I mean, I know it's not what it's asking, but it's asking who's better in ring all time. You're going to have to lean towards the Olympic gold medalists versus Daniel Bryan, in my opinion. The guy did everything that you wanted him to do and more as a heavyweight champion. You know,
Okay. EC, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I think if you, well, obviously Kurt Angle's done, but like even if Bryan Danielson was done today, I think you get a lot more like memories and stuff that you remember out of Kurt Angle than you do Bryan Danielson. And that's not even a knock to him. I just think Kurt is just too good. I don't think many people can top him.
that TNA run was crazy.
And I saved the best for last, Mr. U. I know you have both of these guys in your GOAT conversation, but given the choice between the two, Bryan Danielson, Kurt Angle, who would you say is the best in the ring all time?
I mean, both skilled and Angle more skilled in amateur wrestling. Bryan started, I think it was about 25 years ago. He was just wrestling in smaller federations and stuff. But I think the difference is the power game here. They both can do mat wrestling and technical skills, but the power game, I think, is where going head to head. Love Bryan, man, but
it's hard to pick Kurt. It's hard to go against Kurt in this.
You're eating up because the power game, I think, is the difference. Matter of fact, the power and the speed game, because Daniels, he's fast, but he's not Angle fast.
Yeah.
He doesn't have that extra gear.
Angle explosive. Even his blows are more explosive. I mean, he's bigger and stronger too. So I mean, yeah, it's a nice contest from a technical standpoint until it erupts into some other extracurriculars. It's a wrap then. Angle.
Daniel
Bryan. And I can't disagree. I mean, obviously, we've talked about it. Angle is my GOAT of all time, which is kind of redundant. I mean, he's the greatest of all time for me, in ring, on the mic, overall. I mean, so I would go with Angle. Not that I don't think Danielson is to me a solid number two. It's funny, we had Bret Hart with his catchphrase, "The best there is, the best there was, and the best there ever will be." I would honestly put both of these guys ahead of him, to be completely honest. But yeah, these guys are definitely, as far as in ring competition, I would definitely put these guys up there. If not one or two, they're both in the top three. But I would definitely have to go Angle. Angle is my all-time favorite. So thank you all day Z77 for the great tweet and the discussion. We really appreciate that. Again, anybody that sees this, that wants to have this, this discussion with your tweet or anything like that, make sure you tag one of us in on X, in Twitter, whatever you want to call it, and hopefully we'll be able to use your tweet in a future show, and to bring up some cool discussions like that. We will transition over to AEW real quick. Kind of a quick roundtable. Kind of the same thing we did with kind of the end of Raw. Is there anything you saw? I know a lot of it kind of pushed along the process. We did have the big announcement that Ricochet and Ospreay are going to be battling for the international championship. Anything other than that you guys saw that you're interested in? We'll start with you, EC.
No.
Okay.
No,
that's fair.
And I hate to sound bad, but no.
Mr. U, anything else you saw other than that announcement?
Yeah, it was a little bit rough. Yeah. Dynamite usually been a little better than this. It's been a little bit rough. I think the Ricochet Ospreay thing was after the highlight, and that's like, I'm not quite sure it should have.
Nicky Mac Jackson lost in the main event, and that was the highlight. Ricochet missing a gorilla head.
That match was pretty awesome. That was definitely
great.
match of the night.
It was great, but Nicky Mac Jackson lost.
Just because you don't like them doesn't mean it was a better match.
No,
all right, go ahead, Mr. U. Finish.
Yeah, go ahead.
Let Mr. U finish his point. He was in the middle. Let Mr. U finish your point, please.
Once this is my time to talk, I want to make sure I wasn't cutting nobody off.
Please finish your point.
Did you ask me to speak?
Yes, please.
Yeah. Go ahead, Sped.
All right. Well, then, Sped, go ahead and finish your point.
Stop watching TV and go ahead, Sped. Go ahead. Now's your time.
I think he's
frozen. I think Sped may actually be frozen.
Yeah.
So,
more ways than one.
It's full of sound of fury, signifying nothing. So Sped said that it looks like we have lost Sped for a minute. So we will continue on. I kind of agree. You know, I didn't see a whole lot else on Dynamite. You had the Mariah May and Sakazawa stuff kind of going on. There you go. Sped's back now. We see you again. Sped, did you want to finish your point on Dynamite? Can you hear us? Hello, Sped.
Earth to Sped.
He said his mic isn't working.
Oh, Sped's having some technical difficulties there, so we'll continue on. While he gets that fixed, we will continue on. So yeah, kind of the same thing. Nothing serious really happened. You know, again, they've got a big show coming up in their fifth anniversary show, which is where, you know, Ospreay and Ricochet are going to have their match. You've got Grand Slam coming up, so we will definitely get in more into Grand Slam over the next couple of weeks and more into some of the storylines there. Which will bring us to, and I wanted to give a little bit of time because we've talked about our Matchmaker series. We do have a special one for EC. I have my so everybody, we're going to take about 10 seconds. If you haven't already, write down who you think EC is going to pick, because we're all going to try to guess who EC is going to pick as his winner. I have mine now written down. Mr. You've already got yours written down?
Yeah, it's tough because
Ed, if you could hear me, give me a thumbs up if you have yours written down.
EC's a home for some of these people. I don't know. So, yeah.
Ed's got his written down. So EC, we're going to let you go first. We've all been waiting in anticipation since we dropped this in the group chat a couple of days ago. So without further ado, take it away. How do you have this match going, EC? Oh wow, he's got a presentation and everything. Wait, what is this?
Yeah, what is this?
Hold on a second.
Is this safe for work?
Did you already show who you thought you were? Or I was.
No, we're not going to show it until after you say who you think is going to win. We'll show who we thought you said. Don't eat. Put it down.
I can't even.
You think Raiders? You think Raiders or something? I'm going to show you.
So I'm under the assumption that just based off of these photos that you're taking. Well, obviously Sasha and Bailey as their NXT versions.
Well, so I use that just to keep the theme of NXT horsewomen. You had the OG horsewomen and what have been deemed as the new generation of horsewomen. So I wanted to keep the theme going, but you can take whatever generation of any of them that you really want. I just use this to keep the theme.
Well, that's how I was looking at it.
That's fine.
I'm just going to keep it short and sweet. This is who I got winning.
Oh, wow. Okay.
All right.
Roxy 2-time.
Roxanne.
Obviously out of this group, one of them hasn't been NXT Women's Champion. And because of that, I'm taking who I believe to be the most dominant NXT Women's Champion.
Okay.
I think she
just hashtag most. Yeah, don't forget that part too. It's not a surprise, man.
All right, so we do know he's picking Roxy. So everybody, Mr. U, did you have Roxy as who he picked?
No, but I said I seen his hashtag. I liked his post. I thought I want to pick somebody else different just because I've seen the effusive love for this person. I'm like, he'll pick somebody else different just to kind of throw us. So I picked somebody else. Yeah, I didn't pick Roxy.
Who'd you pick?
I thought you picked Bailey.
That would have been number 2.
So I picked Bailey as well, just because of conversations we've had on and off of the podcast. I know that you and her have a very personal connection through some stuff that you guys went through together at the same time a few years back. I remember that. I remember you telling us that story. It was a very touching story. So that's why I thought one, you would either pick her, or 2, I thought you would not want to pick between any of the 3 main, her, Cora, or Roxy. So you would have Sasha cheat to win, but only by cheating, just because I know Sasha is 4th on you on this list. But I thought it would either be that or Bailey. So I was incorrect as well. I thought it would be Bailey.
So, just with me and Mike talking about it earlier in the week, or last weekend, whatever it was, I did mention that I didn't think any of you were going to get this correct. So, it does make me laugh because
that's not right, man.
But the reason I go, I'll say this: the reason I go with Roxy on this one, and Cora, like I said, Cora hasn't been champion, but been able to see Roxanne, everything that Roxanne has done in NXT in person. I've seen her win the breakout tournament. I've seen her win the tag titles. I've seen her win this title twice. She always finds a way to win. She is just a winner. That's what she does.
Okay. Sped, real quick. We'll try to keep it as close to an hour. I know, Mr. You got to go here in a second. So, Sped, go real quick. Who do you think would win the match, and what do you think happens?
Bailey. She pins Sasha. We got Roxanne and Cora going at it. I think Bailey wins. That's how I go. And I thought you were gonna pick Cora.
Mr. U, how do you see the match going down?
Oh man, I can't get over that. If you go back and look at the hashtags, you see it. It's like so evident. The one and still the only true champion. It's over and over. Like, I thought he would pick somebody different just to kind of throw us off because it's so obvious who he likes. So he just stuck to the script. Went chalk on us, man. I don't understand that, but okay.
Roxy 2-time.
Yeah, one of many hashtags I've seen on your Instagram. I'm gonna go with Cora on this one.
Okay. What do you think happens?
I think Bailey and Sasha are going to be consumed with each other. They're going to start off teaming up against everybody. Then, Roxanne's going to do what she does, plant seeds of division between them, and they're going to. Cora's going to catch Roxanne by surprise. I forgot her finishing move, but put her down, win this match. Bailey and Sasha on the outside, and it's just Cora and Roxanne, and Cora destroys EC's girlfriend. That's it.
First off, just so Cora's finisher, at least prior, I don't know what it's going to be when she comes back, but prior is a double arm DDT.
A double arm DDT?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I'll stick with that. That makes me feel less confident about it, but that's fine.
So how I see it going, for all the reasons that Mr. U said, I think Sasha and Bailey take each other out. All the history they have, all the things they've been through together. Obviously still best friends behind the scenes. They still hang out with each other. I think they take each other out, and it comes down to Cora and Roxy in the ring. And then I will switch for all the reasons that EC said. I think Cora loses to Roxy. I think she hits Pop Rocks a couple times, takes the victory, and becomes, I guess, what would be Roxy 3-time, because she's been 2-time NXT champion, and now she would be the TNTT Matchmaker Series champion. So I guess we would have to put her as Roxy 3-time. But that's how I see the match going down. I think Roxy beats her. And as much as I like Cora too, I'm a Cora fan as well. I don't think she is on Roxy's level, especially in the ring. I know Cora's learning a lot more. I know they've been in the ring a lot around the same amount of time, but it just seems like maybe the injuries have held Cora back a little bit. It seems like Roxy is just on another level to me.
Roxy 3-time.
There you go. All right. Any other thoughts on this match or anything else anybody has? Now or forever hold your peace?
Not on this match. I'm just going to make a bold statement. And still Roxy 2-time after October 1st.
Well, don't do that because we're going to predict. I just said we were going to predict those next week.
They all know who I'm picking.
Well, we do now.
The Bird Lady.
You know what?
Wow.
I saw it.
Go away.
I saw it.
Go away.
Wow.
Nah, you're gonna be calling now. What the heck is that, dude?
Team Tyra forever. I love Tatum Paxley.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah, we'll definitely talk about them. That's also that's a great tag team. You may have the tag team champs come down, but we'll definitely talk about that next week on our Thursday night tag team. A very special episode where we will talk about the premiere of NXT on the CW. And a couple other big things. We will talk about some stuff on Twitter throughout the week, make some announcements. Next week is a very special show for some things that we will announce on Twitter. Kind of a bittersweet show for all of us, but we will get into that. Hope you guys enjoyed the wrestling show tonight. Hope you guys will enjoy wrestling over the next week. And keep it classy and make sure you guys love each other. Let's keep the hate out. Like the theme says. Yeah. All wrestling, no hate. Appreciate it, everybody. Have a good night.
Night.